family. Yes, people, it's your fucking boy. It's me, Jackham. Guess who else is here?
Little bit of Emmy.
Nobody go quench that thirst. It's Danny. It's Danny. Danny's here as well.
Your family.
Your family. I haven't made a video in time. The last video I made was me shamelessly shilling my own sample pack, which you can find a link for in the description below. So let's get you some actual fucking useful content here, guys. Yeah, so what we're gonna do, many of you will have been in a situation, right, like I'm in right now, where I have got a 2-bar loop, right? I've got a 2-bar loop. Let's listen to it. And then you're looking at Ableton and it's like, oh my fucking God, I've got to fill all of this shit here, and then I've got to fill all of this shit fucking after it. What am I gonna do? It's not that big a deal, guys. Yeah, you can do it. It just takes practice and immense fucking focus. Yeah, immense focus. Obviously not immense focus, but yeah, it's not as big or scary of a thing as you're building it up to be, right? So we're gonna do it live. Yeah, so we've got a 2-bar loop, right? Sounding like it's sounding okay, it's sounding good. An important like caveat to say here is that like this 2-bar loop here is like is the be all and end all of the track, I would say, right? You really need to dial in a 2-bar loop before you start arranging shit out. Oh, this is my personal opinion anyway. Before I start arranging shit out, I like to make sure that I've actually got an idea that I like, that feels good to me. Yeah, so this is only 2 bars, right? But this is like the main loop of the track. Dance music just loops and repeats, guys. So you need to make sure that the thing that's looping and repeating is good, because people are going to hear it over and over and over and over again. So once you're happy, once you know, I feel as though I could add some more little bits to the groove of this, but it's in a good place right now. The core structure's there. We've got some little gaps here and kind of here where we could put other shit, but that can probably come a bit further down the line where I'm feeling a bit more inspired. So here's my normal approach. We've got the drop, right? We need to contextualize the drop. How do you contextualize it? Something needs to come before it, something needs to come after it. Normally once I've done drop, I kind of go and figure out like what do I want to happen build-up wise. So let's go and do that, right? Let's do that now. So what the fuck have we got going on? We have got what elements have we got to play with, right? We've got drums, obviously, and then we've got the sample, right? Obviously that sample is going to exist somewhere in the intro, right? I've got a load of other chops over here that I took. They're in no particular order, but we'll probably use some of that in the intro or the build-up. So the question is, do I just straight up use the chops from the drop and like loop those, or do I use some other ones? I'm not sure. Let's see what we think. So these are the chops. This channel here is a bit more processed. Oops, let's copy that with everything on. Yeah, I think let's not overcomplicate it with these other chops. I'll tell you what we will do though, we'll put these chops kind of down here on this track, and we'll kind of move it up to the top of the project, and we'll turn the track off and we'll just call this chops. Chops if we need it. You can get it if you need it. Sammy Verger. I'm just putting a little fade on these guys just to stop that kind of attack thing. Soften the attack. Get rid of any clicks. So I'm thinking like a 16-bar build-up, and there's going to be some drums before that, right? Stop overcomplicating intros, right, guys? Your intro doesn't need to be this big fucking orchestral, insane, like complex, ever-changing, ever-evolving fucking piece, right? It doesn't need to be that. All it needs to be is something that people can use to mix in effectively, right? This is if you're making dance music. Obviously, if you're making other shit, then you know you can go as crazy as you want. But for dance music, it doesn't need to be complicated. In fact, it shouldn't be complicated, right? What you need to keep in mind, guys, always is that when we're making dance music, it's designed to be mixed. It's designed to be played in clubs, yeah, and mixed alongside other tunes. So the more complicated you make that intro, the more difficult it's going to be for DJs to mix it. The more frustrating it's going to be to mix. I'm not saying we should keep it completely fucking bare bones and just be a kick drum, although you could do that, but you know, keep it harmonically pretty simple and rhythmically pretty simple. Give DJs something stable that they can use to mix in, and something that sits underneath another track well and nicely. We're not going to totally flesh that out to begin with. I'm just going to put drums there. So we've just got drums to begin with, but I'm just putting them there, placeholder, so that I know, okay, that's what's going to be there. And it fills up space, and it makes us feel like we're progressing, because we are progressing. We're going to go back later and kind of fill in these little bits with, you know, cool effects or whatever to kind of pad that intro out and make it feel a bit more complex and interesting. But yeah, even just by putting that there, it's like a mental thing. It's like, okay, we know that we're going to have something there. So we're going to go from drums, and then I'm wanting to break into this sample, right? So yeah, we break into just a sample here, right? So that's cool. It's so tempting, and people do it all the time, right? What they will do is fucking have a intro, not an intro, sorry. What people do is they'll have a build-up, and they'll have it just cut out to like just one sound with nothing rhythmically present, right? So they'll cut out all the drums. Now this can sometimes this does work, and it does sound cool. What you need to be cautious of is if you give people nothing to keep time with, right? So no rhythm or percussion. What that equates to on the dance floor is it means that people stop dancing. If there's nothing rhythmically there for them to dance to or move to, they will stop moving. And normally if they stop moving, they'll say, oh, should we go to the bar? Should we go out for a cig? Should we go fucking do whatever, you know, go do something. So keep them moving, right? Don't have to keep them moving with just something fucking simple, right? So I'm thinking here, what's going to sound nice here? Loops, and maybe I'll type soft percussion, right? So just something like soft. Okay, quite like that. And then does that other bit layer nicely, that first one that we heard, like the kind of beatbox one? Maybe we could put it on repitch mode, see how that sounds. I'm going to take a little bit of the highs out of that, and this is less of a mixing thing and more of like a sound designing thing. I want that to sit underneath. I want it to sit underneath those, what the fuck are they called? Violin chops. I also want some sort of texture, right, to sit underneath all of this, just to kind of fill up the spectrum a little bit and to make it feel a bit more live sounding, you know, maybe a bit more kind of real and lifelike and organic. So let's look for like a nice texture. Maybe, yeah, like an environment sound. Kind of like that one there, actually, instead. It's giving outdoors. It's giving outside. Yeah, so let's throw that on, and I want to kind of I just really want like the tops of that. And then maybe let's like repeat all of that. The drop goes like this. So. We've got this first 8-bar where the sample's introduced, right? We've got a few options, right? In my head, I want this to change, right? I want this second 8-bar to change. Why do I want that to change? Because this sample appears like this in the drop, right? This is exactly how it appears in the drop. So if we just give them that right up until the drop hits, it's going to lose a bit of interest and impact, right? By the time the drop hits, they've been listening to that sample shot for fucking 16 bars already. So it's going to lose a bit of its fucking impact. So for me, I feel as though, you know, I want to switch things up a bit, guys. So how do we do that? We could use a different chop. We could use a different rhythm. There's lots of other things that we could do. Let's experiment, right? An idea that just popped up into my head would be to go and just repeat this last chop. So... I think that could work, right? It needs finessing, obviously. We're going to finesse it in just a second. But that could definitely work. What we're doing is we're distracting people from what they've just been listening to, right? They've almost forgotten about that chop, and they'll get reminded when it drops. What are we going to do? What will we do? Something like that. I think that would be pretty cool to do. So let's just automate that in. So very simple, guys, right? When it comes to like build-ups and shit like that, draw for the classic effects, reverb washouts, filters, filtering up, filtering down. You know, fucking basic shit always works every time. Yeah, cool. And then what I also want to do is like slowly increase the reverb. I'm going to use supermassive instead. Large triangle hall. I've used this preset a million times before. I've said this before as well, but like there's nothing wrong with doing that. If the effect sounds good, you know, don't feel like I have to do something fucking brand new every single time. Alright, so that's cool. What else do I want to happen? I think I probably want this other percussion to stop, to not be here. So I'll kind of remove that for the second 8 bar. Again, always thinking, guys, what have we got in the drop that we can utilise in the build-up? Because what the goal essentially of a build-up is to kind of, you want to tease kind of what's going on the drop without giving it all away. So like the drums here, let's start teasing those in. So maybe what we do is we just take the tops and the clap. And what I want to do is take out, I think, all of these little tom type sounds. Think about what's going on in this build-up, right? This sample is going down and then up, right? So maybe we have the tops just come up. Right, so I'm gonna go for a hybrid filter, and just while I remember, I want to we'll call this like wash out, and I'm just gonna have these turned on for this section of the track. So yeah, we can filter our drums up here. Right, so where we are, we've got this kind of build-up happens, the drums come up, that's fine. Let's put in just some simple, we can put in some simple kind of transitional effects now to just sweeten that up a bit and just make it slightly more listenable while we carry on. So, impacts, right? Let's label this actually environment. And there's a few impacts that I use all the time. I think that they sound nice. Again, don't be afraid of using the same sounds repeatedly. speaking on effects, guys, you just kind of want to punctuate every section change, right? You want to make it feel, you want to kind of smooth all the transitions, right? From 8 bar to 8 bar, from 16 bar to 16 bar. Maybe I just like that bit, and then maybe I want like a sub drop, maybe pitched up a bit. Ooh. What's next? What's next? Yeah, maybe a bit of like a splash. Yeah, so something like this, right? I think maybe a subtle kind of kick thing could actually sound nice, to be honest with you. So, few ideas with this. I've made it a little bit quieter than the main kick, so that when the main kick comes in, we feel it kind of kick in, pardon the pun. Also, like, I want to add some movement to this, kind of frequency-wise, so I might bring it in with like a loco. Yeah, that feels nice actually. And then maybe here I start like increasing the amount of kicks, so I have to go faster. Now, what I'm also going to do is sidechain this main sample to that build kick, right? Because I want you to kind of feel that kick's there. So I'm going to do a kind of shorter side chain and a less intense one as well. Yeah, I like how that feels. I'm also going to put that on the riser here. So what have we got so far? Cool, I might also put this sidechain on that splash as well. Just a bit more subtly. Maybe I want this little... I'm probably, like, this is a placeholder here, guys, the pre-drop, right? Like, the pre-drop needs a lot of work. Like, I normally spend like a good 30-40 minutes just figuring out the pre-drop. So yeah, we'll revisit that. But for now, I'm kind of just focused on. The intro build-up. So we've got like a good thing going here, right? We've got kind of the main structure going there. I do think there's room to add more, and I'm going to try a few things now. But what I wanted to mention is like potentially later on in the track, because the way I'm going to structure this, I think, is I'm going to do like one episode on Buildup, and then another on fleshing out the first 16 of the drop, or the first 2 16s of the drop, and so on and so forth. So like maybe a little MIDI video for each. Yeah, so the caveat here is that as we progress through the track, maybe I'll find a cool vocal at some point that might fit. I might then go back and put that in the intro at a later point, right? But for now, we're just working with what we've got here. And then maybe here it starts bending up. So I don't really think, I think for now, like, it kind of works as a basic intro. Let's flesh it out just a little bit more. Yeah, maybe what we do is we have like another, we have a bass underlying that, just a really simple one. Maybe that needs, right, a kick there. Not a kick, sorry, a side chain, that's what I'm talking about. Maybe it needs side chaining. But we would have to switch this track off because I don't want there to be an actual kick there. Probably want that to like fully cut off there. And I think maybe I also want to kind of just gently remove some of like the mids and lows from this sample as it starts to build. So I'm just going to use this end console for this. The reason I like this plugin, guys, it's got really gentle like filters. Kind of really subtle, which is quite nice for build-ups, I find. Yeah, I think that's probably fine for now. We'll probably add to this. As I start to introduce more elements throughout the track. But I think for now, like, that's sounding pretty good. So I'll just play it one more time, see where we're at. Nice, okay, right, so I'll see you on the next one, guys, where I think we'll probably start fleshing out that drop a bit, maybe find some of the elements to kind of fill that groove up a bit as well. Yeah, love you all so much, bye.